Right now, we are in the middle of this amazing renaissance of retro-style first-person shooters, which I am just head over heels in love with. You have New Blood putting out absolute bangers like Dusk, which I wish I had more of an excuse to talk about, and 3D Realms dusting off the build engine with Ion Fury. Even in the AAA space, you have id Software returning to their roots with Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal. The best thing about all these games is how they pay tribute to our nostalgia, but also remind us of how timeless 90s FPS gameplay really is, and it's none the more evident in Project Warlock. Project Warlock has been out for a few years now, but recently its magical retro carnage was made available for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch, which is the version we are looking at today. Project Warlock puts you in the sweaty, blood-soaked armor of an unnamed warlock who must battle through various fantasy and sci-fi inspired environments employing an assload, scientific term, of weapons inspired by classic FPS games. Project Warlock bases a lot of its core look on early id titles, specifically Wolfenstein 3D and, dare I say, Catacombs 3D. Like those games, the sprawling maze-like levels exist predominantly on the X-axis, emulating their ray-casted look. Differences, of course, the levels having actual ceilings, exteriors, and the occasional elevator. Looks can be deceiving though, because while the graphics may bring to mind Blazkowicz, the gameplay definitely harkens to the almighty Slayer. Warlock is all about fast strafing, fast shooting, and making these satanic sprites regret the day they ever laid eyes on you. The shooting in Project Warlock feels spot on, responsive, and delectably chunky just as it should be. Each weapon slot has up to 2 weapons each, representing 2 sides of the same coin for that specific weapon type. For example, the melee slot has the fast but weak knife and the slow but powerful axe, while the pistol slot has your standard handgun and a magic staff. In the machine gun slot, you have the submachine gun and the chain gun. And in the shotguns, you have the standard pump action and of course the double barrel shotgun, which is just butter. I love a good double barrel shotgun. It's like the New York steak of shooter weapons. Easy to screw up, but oh so good when you get it right. But of course, good shooting mechanics don't mean squat unless you have the level design to support it. And while Warlock obviously keeps it simple, the levels do a great job of vacillating between winding, cramped corridors where close-range weapons are key and wide open areas where circle strafing, long-range weapons, and explosives will win you the day. And of course, there are secrets galore. The enemies are also a trip. Some of these designs are pretty wild, like soldiers that morph into aliens and giant swole Egyptian dog dudes. And while at first these sprites may seem simplistic, it's not long before you notice their impressive animations. Enemy attack and death animations look really smooth and elaborate. This goes for the reload animations of your weapons. Just look how good reloading the shotgun looks. There are 5 worlds in the game, each with 5 episodes, that have about 2 to 3 levels each. Each of the levels you can get through anywhere from 3 to 8 minutes, with exceptions in the last few worlds. This makes the game perfect for handheld play, as you can go about this game in bursts. Each world is this mix of themes that sound like odd flavor combinations, like bacon chocolate or peanut butter on burgers, but it's not until you take a bite that you realize how good they are together. World 1 is medieval fantasy mixed with gothic horror, but with a color scheme that reads more cyberpunk. World 2 brings a spy thriller to mind, complemented by Lovecraftian horror, with some very appropriate nods to The Thing. World 3 is Egypt, but with clear nods to Serious Sam and Power Slave. World 4 is a cross between a gritty military shooter and a giant mech anime. And World 5 is hell, but a good hell. Like this hell could give Doom's hell a run for its money. Hell yeah. Each world ends with a giant bullet spongy boss, which is fine. Lots of circle strafing and explosives, but they feel appropriately difficult and the sprite designs are pretty cool. While the levels in World 1 stick to a simplistic Wolfenstein style of design, as you open up new worlds they do get more complicated, reflecting the advancement of shooter design through the 90s. Now, glazed on top of this magical FPS donut is a light RPG system. Killing enemies earns you experience, which upon leveling up gets you upgrade points, which can be used to increase your stats, such as your total health and ammo capacity, along with buying you new spells. Oh yes, there's a spell system in this game too. Assuming you have enough mana, you can cast a shield that absorbs 50% of your damage, a magical grenade, and a spell that refills your ammo, among others. The spells are nice, but I couldn't help but feel they made me a little OP in the final levels, considering I could survive just about any battle by using my shield and refilling my ammo. Then again, if you enjoy a good power fantasy in your shooters, this will certainly do the trick. With the upgrade points, you can also upgrade your weapons. Each weapon has 2 permanent variations that the player can choose from. So the pistol can either become a magnum or a flare gun to light enemies on fire, and the dynamite can become a grenade or proximity bomb. What I like about this is whatever type of shooter fan you are, the game allows you to have the FPS weapon loadout of your dreams, on top of being a good bit of replay value, as playing through again is the only way to unlock the other weapons. Now, while you may be fairly overpowered by the final boss, getting to that point is not without its challenge. Warlock can be pretty tough. Just like the games it takes inspiration from, it rarely pulls punches. Enemies litter these levels with abundant monster closets and constant ambushes. Even the doors to the exit have the ability to kill you. You will die often, and since there is a live system coupled with the fact that the game only saves progress when the world is beaten, expect your initial runs to be on the rough side before you really start to get a hang of this game. When it comes to the Switch port, I have few complaints. Project Warlock runs great and feels great both as a handheld game and a docked experience. I ran into one severe instance of slowdown, but it was late in the game and very brief. If there's one thing I could nitpick, it's how the port handles weapon switching. By default, you are given a weapon wheel clearly inspired by Doom 2016. It's a good thought, but the wheel feels really clunky to use and isn't super responsive, something that is frustrating in more intense firefights. Plus, one time it glitched out on me and no matter what weapon I switched to, it would always equip the magic staff. You can switch to a traditional cycle-through system, which is better, but still not the best. Also, this may seem out of nowhere, but be careful with the elevators, they can cause a lot of issues. For example, one time I was moving around in one and accidentally fell through the floor. And then another time I got in one, realized I left something behind, and then ran out at the last second and wasn't able to resummon the elevator, forcing me to restart. Otherwise, the game looks good, plays good, and the awkwardness I just mentioned is annoying but will hardly ruin the experience. I really don't have a lot of bad things to say about Project Warlock. I had a ton of fun with this game and I'm looking forward to replaying it in the future whenever I need a little FPS bump. If you're a fan of 90s style first-person shooters, this game is a no-brainer. It will scratch that itchy trigger finger and give you all the warm nostalgia fuzzies. But if you're also a gamer that enjoys a good fast shooter and are looking for something on the go, you can't go wrong with this one either. I am officially crossing my fingers for Project Warlock 2. Hopefully this game is done well enough to warrant one. But hey, what do you guys think? Anybody currently playing Project Warlock and want to offer their thoughts, or do you have any additional questions about the game? Be sure to hit me up in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please do me a huge solid and click that subscribe button and click the like icon. It is a huge help in my battle to appease the all-powerful algorithm. I post videos every Thursday, so be sure to ring that bell so you are the first to see them. I'm Kirk, and thank you for watching this video. Stay safe out there.